Hello everybody, welcome back to yet another video of FikarNot.com, now FikarNot from studies. So today we're going to be starting a brand new chapter in a brand new subject, that is commercial applications. I had been getting, a lot of requests for starting commercial applications. So, here I am starting commercial applications. I'm starting off with chapter 1, that's the introduction to commercial organizations. And a few syllabuses or just a few chapters, or not chapters, you can say topics that we will learn in this chapter is meaning and nature of business, branches of business, etc. Personally, in grade 9 you have options and more third subjects, but commercial application is what I'm interested in, and I love teaching commercial applications. So here I am teaching commercial applications. So all those commercial application students out there, hope you enjoy this video, and let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, you all know that human beings in a day-to-day life, they have to carry out several activities to satisfy their needs. Every human in this world, human as in adults, who is not under the name of any guardian, but just as an adult, I am an adult. I'm not under the name of any guardian. I'm the adult and I'm alone. It's only me, it's my name. I'm not under any guardian. So every adult in that sense has some or the other job, or else that person may be dead by now or into the streets without any job. Even the people living in the streets go around and try to sell things so that they can satisfy at least their family needs, as in just food or water, right? So every human being needs some or the other kind of resources, etc., right? And every human being in this world has to take on some kind of activity in order to fulfill their needs. Now, in this case, you have two activities that are taking place by any humans. That is, first, economic activity, and second is non-economic activity. Now, economic activities are taken place with the purpose of earning wealth, money, whatever. Right? So if I say business, profession, and employment come under economic activities, these are three ways. These are three activities that humans take on to earn money and serve their family. But economic activity is something different. Economic activity is not with the purpose of earning money. It's only the purpose of, respecting your society, or, affectionate or loved ones. Like, if I give my father a glass of water, I don't tell him to pay me like 10 dirhams, 10 rupees, any of that. I don't, right? I just give it to them because, yes, that's true. That's the love and affection between a family, and everyone loves their father, right? So that is why I am giving him the glass of water that I am. So this is why all of these examples are just some examples of basic commercial organizations and non-economic activities. So under economic activities, as I said, you have business, profession, and employment. And profession is an occupation involving the rendering of expert services for a fee, like doctors, etc. Now, doctors don't get monthly wages. They don't get 10,000, 20,000 per month, or 50,000, 60,000 per month. It differs on how many customers, patients come to them. So if I'm a doctor and I get, say, 5 customers a day, patients a day, according to that, the fee that they leave me, how big of a problem they have, all these factors will come into my monthly wages. And that's why you have to work hard to be a good doctor so that people come, come and visit you, and they basically leave you a fee by which you can run your family and yourself, right? Similarly, then you have employment. So employment is, unlike a profession, you have a monthly fixed salary. So you have a monthly fixed salary, say, of 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, any of that. You have a monthly fixed salary. On the basis of that, you are employed under a company or any of that. Some owner or, director, board of director, any, like those people, they employ you into the company, and you work for a certain wage or salary which will be constant. It is constant on the monthly basis. Of course, if you have promotion, it will go up. If the company is having some cost cutting, they may even, decrease your salary or even fire you. All of that is different, but normally you're working for the same salary, right? Like an employer for like there is an employer-employee relationship. The employee renders service as per the employment agreement, basically. Now, some characteristics and examples of economic activities is economic activities are undertaken to earn money income. These activities help to create wealth. They are to satisfy all the basic human needs. Apart from that, all the luxuries that we are surrounded with, we all need some of the other kind of luxuries, and we all are like that. So we need some of the other kind of luxuries, and that is why, to satisfy these basic human needs, economic activities are important in any adult's life, and these activities serve as basis for the economic development. And this is how you build on your economy, like yourselves, your personal economy, not the world's economy, right? That is why during COVID, the economy had gone down so much, because there wasn't a lot of activity happening, and a lot of people had lost their jobs due to COVID. Now, some examples are industrial, running a factory, a shopkeeper selling goods, a cinema house selling entertainment, a doctor treating patients. All of this is economic activities. Even though doctors are, serving you, and treating you from a big or small or a medium or any kind of disease that you have out there. At the same time, they also charge a fee, because there'll be very, very less doctors out there that are only meant for service, but most of them actually need the money so that they can run their family. Similarly, under this, you have human activity. So human activity is economic, non-economic. Under economic, you have business, profession, and employment. Under non-economic, you can have many sorts, but we are we're basically just classifying it into 4 subtypes as of now. That is parental, the love and affection that your parents show to you and you show to your parents. Religious, a lot of committees are out there that don't charge money, and you can just go out there and just serve the religion that you have to. Social and patriotic as well. Now, this is the basis of distinction between economic and non-economic activities. First is clearly the purpose of economic activities is to get money, and non-economic activities is to not get money. Then the reward in economic activities is you're getting money. And in non-economic activities, you don't get any reward as of that, but you do get, in the case of parental non-economic activity, you do get the love and affection that you need. Then consideration of economic activities is these economic activities are guided by rational considerations, because these involve the use of scarce economic resources such as land, labor, capital, etc. So the economic activities are guided by rational considerations. You cannot just take irrational considerations, because you know that your whole personal economy is based on economic activities. But as of non-economic activities, they are led by emotional and sentimental reasons. You are doing it for the love and affection of someone. You're doing it because you love a person, right? So that is your non-economic activities. Now, one thing that I want to tell you over here is whenever you are finding a difference between economic and non-economic activities, and whenever you're giving any distinction between any two certain, any two subjects, always remember in commercial application, remember to write the basis of distinction or the parameters of distinction, because that adds to your answer a lot. Okay, so I'd suggest that you underline distinction between economic and non-economic activities, because it's one of the most important things as of now. Okay, then examples. We all know economic activities and non-economic activities, very, very clear. The necessity of economic activities is for wealth. Non-economic activities is for psychological satisfaction and pleasures. That's true. A result is you get wealth, and economic activities, you don't exactly, its result is not in wealth, but also in some reasons, in some cases, its result is a lot of love and affection that you get. Satisfaction, you don't really get satisfied in economic activities as far as money is concerned, but in non-economic activities, you are satisfied in your mind. Psychological needs of people are completely satisfied in non-economic activities. Now, one more thing. I know I have a problem of explaining too much. and I am working on that, I promise. So this chapter is, since it is 20 pages, quite a long chapter. I'll try to finish it off in 2 to 3 videos. Please, 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 please. Trust me, it will always benefit you. Okay, moving on. So, non economic activities are undertaken not for earning money but for personal satisfaction. A housewife looking after her family, a person visiting a temple daily, a young man donating blood, a boy helping an old lady in crossing a road are examples of non economic activities. These activities involve social, religious, patriotic, and other non-financial motives. All these activities are not only they're not done for wealth. If I'm for example, I'm taking my sister's glasses and I'm giving it to her in the room because she asked for them, I won't charge money. No, I won't, because she has told me something and I'll do it because I'm a sister, right? So that is why all the non-economic activities, you don't really expect something in return except a lot of happiness and satisfaction, right? Now, some characteristics and examples of non-economic activities is that they are not undertaken to earn money. They do not create wealth in a human being's life. These satisfy higher order satisfy higher order human needs for your mental health. It's good for your mental health. And these activities provide a sense of social and psychological satisfaction. Of course, they do. Okay. Example is a lady cooking for her family, or a man cooking for his family, a young man keeping the environment clean, or a young woman keeping the environment clean, a person helping a blind person in crossing the road, a person donating his eyes for use after his death, a mother or father teaching his or her children. Okay, so this was all about economic and non-economic activities. Now let's go a step higher. So let's say that this complete chapter is like a staircase of 10 steps, and slowly we are going a level higher each time. So don't get scared when we reach level 10. Okay, so we have crossed level 1. Let's go to level 2 now. Now we saw that under economic activities you have business, profession, and employment. So we have seen what profession and employment is, but then comes the question of business. What is a business? Well, business may be defined as a human activity directed towards producing or acquiring wealth. Wait 1 minute, I'll just change the page. Okay. Yes, business may be defined as a human activity directed towards producing or acquiring wealth through buying and selling of goods. Business consists of those processes by which desirable things are extracted from earth, fashioned and transformed by man and machine, carried from place to place, and stored through time and place in the hands of those who are ready for them. So basically, what is a business? A business may be defined as a human activity directed towards producing or acquiring wealth. Now, business is something where you are buying and selling certain goods and services, right? Business consists of all those processes by which desirable things are extracted from the earth and fashioned and transferred by a man or a woman, basically. So in business, what happens is business is an activity where the buying and selling of goods and services happens, and all the necessities that humans need in their life, like fashion, clothes, shoes, socks, t-shirts, skirts, then pants, all of that, right? All of these necessities that a normal human being needs, it is extracted from the earth as for, like cotton and all of that, natural resources. It is transformed and then it is sold out to the public. And this is done by a business. And there is a complete process that you see. It's almost like seeing cotton and then seeing a cotton shirt. It's a complete process of the cotton turning into that shirt. Okay, so all of this is done by business, and that is why if I'm wearing a t-shirt and a pant right now, or socks and like a necklace, whatever, all of this is possible because business is there. Or else imagine if I want a necklace, I'll have to go to the fields, I'll have to get all the natural resources, transform it, and that's how I'll get one necklace. So to ease all of this out, we have business into our we have business that has come into our life. And then also all of these goods and services are sold to the people, and they buy it for a certain amount of money. So clearly business is also an economic activity. It is where you want some money. In the case of, you want some money in return when you are doing so much for the public. You're going to the fields, you're getting cotton, all of that, blah, 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 blah. You're doing all of that, and in return, all you ask for is probably 20 to 30 rupees or dirhams, whatever, right? So a thorough analysis of the given definition. So the first definition is the most apt of all. So I just read through that. You can too, okay? And so far, you can highlight the distinction between economic and non-economic activities, and also the meaning and nature of business, because that is an important definition. Okay? Yeah. So after thorough analysis of the definitions, we say that business is the sale, transfer, or exchange of goods. So all businesses activities include sale or exchange of goods and services for some consideration. Buying and selling of goods and services for a price are the essence of a business. If there is no sale, transfer, or exchange for a price, if there is no sale, there is no transfer or exchange for a price, it will not be a business. So all businesses contain some sale or exchange of goods and services, and also transfer of goods and services. You are buying and selling. Now, sale as in you are giving it out to the public. Transfer as in you're transferring it from a natural resource to something else. And exchange will be your exchanging goods and services with some other retailer, and you both are exchanging it and selling it, of course. So without these three, a business would not be called a business. So again, underline the whole line, a thorough analysis of the definitions and the characteristics given below, because all the characteristics are equally important. Okay? And it will not be a business activity. For instance, cooking food for personal consumption does not constitute business, but cooking food and selling it to others for a price becomes business. Why? Because over here you have sale, you're selling it, right? You have transfer. Why? Because you are getting the vegetables and making a whole curry or something out of that, right? And there's also exchange. You are giving you're giving the curry to the people, but you are wanting some money in return as well. So that's exchange. So sale, transfer, or exchange of goods and services. Then the second one is dealings in goods and services. So every business enterprise produces or buys goods and services for selling them to others. Goods may be consumer goods or producer goods. Consumer goods are meant for direct use, and producer is raw materials and everything. So dealings in goods and services it's definitely a business is there. That a business consists of that. A business enterprise, they produces or buys goods and then they sells them also. So over here a dealing is only happening. It's you are providing goods and services to the people, but in return you expect some money. Then regular dealings, of course, regular dealings. Now if I buy a house for 1 million, say 1 million, I'm selling it for 2 million, and I say, oh my god, I'm a businesswoman, I have done business. That is not possible, because a business requires regular dealings. If I buy like 100 such houses and I sell them to each person, then I can say that I'm in real estate, because I'm buying and selling houses in this case, right? So that would mean I'm in the real estate business. But apart from that, if I'm buying one house and if I'm selling it, that does not mean that I am in a business, basically. Similarly, you can say profit motive is also one thing. Why? Because you want some money in return. Then creation of utilities, as in a business makes goods more useful to satisfy human wants. It adds time, place, and possession utilities. In the words of Roger, a business exists to create and deliver value of satisfaction to customers at a profit. Business creates form utility by converting raw materials and into finished products. Place utility is created through transportation, and time utility is created through storage. Simple and easy definition. Then again, in a business, there's an element of risk, because you don't know that the idea that you're launching out to the public will actually be a success. So it can also be a complete flop, and the public may not like what you are selling to them, right? So it can also be a complete, literally a complete flop, but at the same time, it can also be a good business, right? So there's always an element of risk. You don't know when, because see, in this world there are different trends going on. Sometimes it's like a trend of bell bottoms, sometimes it's like a trend of crop tops, all of that, right? So there are different trends. And now if I'm living in 2000, say 2015, today's 2015, let's just assume, even though it's not 2015, it's 2021, but let's just assume that today is 2015. Okay, and today in style I have bell bottoms. Just an example. I don't know what was in style back then. Just an example. In 2015, let's say the style was bell bottoms. So I say, okay, bell bottoms is in style. I'll start a business of bell bottoms. Now fast forwarding to 2021, where bell bottoms are not a style. Again, an example. So my business will be flop by then, right? So there's always an element of risk that is involved in business. Then seventh, business is an economic activity. It's very much predictable when we say that business is an economic activity. Business is primarily an economic activity as it involves production and distribution of goods and services for satisfying human wants. Business is regarded as an economic activity due to the following reasons. The objective of business activities is to sell the goods and services for profit. Business activities require use of scarce resources like capital, labor, raw materials, etc. Business activities satisfy the needs of businessmen and their families by generating income. Business activities also satisfy various needs of general public by making goods and services available to people. Okay. Now, I'll also like to add one more thing at the risk factor. Also, natural calamities like floods and all of that can also ruin a business, so that's also a risk. Just keep that in mind. Now, we just saw 7 factors that make a business what it is. Okay, and what was the definition of business? Business is an economic activity which deals with regular dealings of buying and selling of goods and services, and it also helps in the creation of utilities for human beings and all of that. And it also consists of processes by which natural resources are transformed into resources that we can use, and like consumer goods that are meant for direct uses, right? Now, in this complete definition, you can see that these 7 characteristics were already included. Like I said, economic activity, that is the 7th point. Regular dealings, that was the first point, right? I included that also. Economic activity, that means it is a profit one. Then creation of utilities, I also said. Dealings in goods and services, I also said. And sale, transfer, and exchange of goods and services, I also said. And as far as element of risk is concerned, it's a common sense. It's common sense basically that any business out there has a risk, and that's why people are very, very, very skeptical when it comes to starting a business, because there's always a risk, and anytime you can have major loss and you can just come to the streets, and I mean that, right? So business is pretty scary in that way. Okay, so that was the complete idea of a business. Moving on, the branches of business. Okay, now under the branches of business we have industries and commerce. Okay, I'm sorry. Now, industry and commerce can be further subdivided into several branches as follows. Okay, so as for business, there are many well-known businessmen of India. That's Mukesh, Dhirubhai Ambani, Ratan and Tata, Kumar Mangalam Birla. Now, one thing that I will suggest over here is, now if you have 2 kinds of highlighters at home, this is for the people who have 2 kinds of highlighters at home, just keep like a color code as you see in maps. Yellow for the one that is very important, that it can come in examinations, and you know that it will come in the examinations because it is an important factor. And mark the green ones for, okay, we'll just go through it, but it is not very important. Okay, so for the people who have that, mark well-known business men of India in green, because you can just go through it. Not very important. It's like a go-through thing. But again, it's not really necessary to go through it. You may not get a fill-in-the-blanks questions, but of course, the characteristics and the meaning and everything is much, much, much more important. So you can get like long answer question types. You can say in the characteristics, but you may not get fill in the blanks from these questions, okay? So you can go through it, and this is the flowchart. So under business, you have industry and commerce. Now under industries, you have extractive industries, genetic industries, manufacturing industries, and construction industries. And under commerce, you have trade and auxiliaries to business. Trade as in internal trade, external trade, wholesale trade, retail trade, import, export, on-shiport, then transportation, warehousing, insurance, banking, and advertising. Now, each of these in its own is a business. Industries, they also have a certain type of business. Commerce, they also have a certain type of business. All of them have a business, and all of them come under economic activities. Now, let's move on to meaning and types of industries. So, industry includes all those business activities which involve extracting, multiplying, growing, processing, assembling, and constructing useful products. The goods may be consumer goods, that's bread, butter, shoes, television, etc. And industry involves the use of men, machines, materials, and money for production goods. So basically, what is an industry? So industry includes all those business activity which involve extracting, as in extracting natural resources from the earth. Multiplying, as in I have that one natural resource, I will multiply to make 100. Then I will grow the same, and I will process it. I will assemble it to come together, and then construction of useful products from that assembling of the useful products. For example, if I want to make like coal or like something like that, right? I will go through all these processes, and then I'll get the useful product, and then I'll use it later on in construction, like bridges, etc. Same for cement, right? So goods may be consumer goods, or it can also be goods, the goods that are not used for direct use, but they are producer goods, as in raw materials, machinery, etc. Producer goods, as in goods needed for the people who want to produce. For example, if I'm starting a tailoring business, so I need a lot of sewing machines and all of that, right? So I cannot directly take it, as in I can't directly consume it, first of all, because it's not a thing to eat. So I'll take it off, and then I'll start my own business with it. So that is producer goods, basically. So in a broad sense, the term industry is also used to refer to a group of firms producing similar or related goods. For example, sugar industry refers to manufacturing units producing sugar. The business enterprises which take industrial activities are known as industrial enterprises. So you can get a fill in the blank questions with this, that the business enterprises which undertake industrial activities are known as what? They're known as industrial enterprises. People who own and control industries are called as industrialists. Okay, now take out your yellow pen and mark the meaning and types of business. Okay, alongside mark the business enterprises which undertake industrial activities are known as industrial enterprises, and the people who undertake it are known as industrialists. So mark that, and that's enough for this page. Moving on to the next page, this is what the flowchart of industries look like. So first we have primary, secondary, and tertiary. Under that we have extractive and genetic, then manufacturing and construction, and tertiary. And under manufacturing also you have subtypes, which we'll talk about later on. Okay, so don't worry about that. Okay, so first let's start with primary industries. Okay, so the types of industries are explained below. Primary industries which are concerned with extraction, multiplication of natural resources are known as primary industries. Now previously in the definition of industries, we saw that industries are basically business activities, right? They are business activities concerned with extraction, multiplying, growing, processing, assembling, and construction. And from all of that, extraction and multiplication is something that is concerned with that of with that of what? Industries. So now I want you to go back in the page and also, with your yellow pen, mark industries include all those business activities which involve extracting, multiplying, growing, processing, assembling, and constructing useful products, because that's also important. So the first two is extracting and multiplying, and primary industry is concerned with that. Okay. Now, under that we have extractive and genetic, and let's start off with it. So now let's go on to the next step, and let's start off with industries. Starting off with extractive industries. So extractive industries are those industries which are concerned with the discovery and extraction of natural resources like minerals from mines, timber for forests, fish from rivers and seas. The product of these industries are either directly consumed, fish as food and coal as fuel, or used as raw materials in other industries. Iron ore is used in the steel industries. Both manual and mechanical techniques are used in extractive industries. Now, under primary industries, you have extractive industries, and just as the name suggests, extractive as in you are extracting the natural resources from the earth, and it is concerned basically with the extraction of natural resources like mines, timbers, etc. Now, these products are either directly consumed, like fish from the river, or coal as fuel, or they are used in other industries such as the steel industries. Iron is used in the steel industries. So when you take out iron from when you extract iron, you use it in the steel industry. Okay, so these are extractive industries. Then genetic industries are those industries which are concerned with reproducing and multiplying. So one thing that you need to know is, when you get to know about primary, extracting and multiplying. Extracting is extractive industry. What is the next one? The next one that will be left is genetic. So when anyone asks you about genetic, just get to know this. What is genetic? As of biology, genetic, you can say genetic, the genes inside us. And they define the heredity of a newborn. Newborn meaning reproduction, reproduction meaning multiplying. That's exactly what genetic industries are. So genetic industries are those industries which are concerned with reproducing and multiplying plants and animals with the purpose of earning profit for their sale. Rearing cattle, breeding of animals, and growing plants are the activities involved in these industries. Some common examples of genetic industries is agriculture, nurseries, dairy, poultry, I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing it right, animals, then orchards, or all of that basically. And that is genetic industries, basically industries that are concerned with the multiplying of plants and animals, and they also breed plants and animals, reproducing and multiplying of the purpose of earning profit, like rearing cattle, breeding of animals, all of that. Okay, so extractive is you are removing it from the earth's crust, or basically just removing and extracting natural resources. And genetic is you are multiplying it to get more in quantity so that you can transform it into a more number of things. For example, a little cotton may seem only one, but we need to multiply it again and again and again so that we at least achieve one whole shirt, right? So this is your primary industries completely. Now, important thing to know over here is the difference between extractive and genetic industry. So in the case of extractive industry, man cannot add to the wealth which he withdraws from the earth, sea and air. On the other hand, in the case of genetic industry, man not only adds to the growth but also reproduces nature-made products. So in extractive industry, once you extract a certain substance, natural resources, that's the only amount of wealth that you get. But the people in the genetic industry, they are very smart. They take that one natural resource and they say, this is not enough. I want more money. So they reproduce the same, they multiply it, and then that much amount of money they get more. Like, that's the amount of money they get there. So, and they basically make 1 to 100. So imagine if one is, say, 10,000, they get 1 lakh. So that is the difference between genetic and extractive industry. Okay. Now, all the things that I want you to underline and mark over here. Let me tell you. Take out your yellow pen and mark primary industry, mark extractive industry, mark genetic industry. Then, with your green pen, mark the examples, a go through, because it's honestly common sense, but for the people who want to, they can. And mark with yellow the difference between extractive and genetic industry. A give reason question can come for that, like which industry is better to go in, genetic or extractive. Definitely genetic, because you're getting more profit out of it. And this whole world basically runs with money now, right? Now let's move on to secondary industries. So the industries which are concerned with the transformation of the materials provided by primary industries are known as secondary industries. Okay, let's go back to the definition of industries. And I want you to actually write this down now. Extracting. I'm giving you time. Write it down. Multiplying. Growing. Processing, assembling, and construction. Hope you all wrote that down. I did give you plenty of time, okay? Okay, so extraction and multiplying and growing is done. Then what is next? The transformation of all of these natural resources to something that we can actually consume, right? So this is where you have secondary industries. The industries which are concerned with the transformation of the materials provided by the primary industries are known as secondary industries. For example, the mining of coal and iron ore is primary industry, but the manufacturing of steel from that is the secondary industry. For example, I am taking out the sugar cane. I am multiplying the sugar cane. I have like 100 sugar canes now, but making that and transforming it into sugar is the secondary industry's job. So what's next? Processing and assembling goes to secondary industry. Okay, so there are two types of secondary industries. That is manufacturing industries, and under manufacturing also you have a few more. And manufacturing and construction are the two types. And under say manufacturing and construction, you have a few subtypes as well. Okay, so first let's start off with manufacturing. So manufacturing industries are those industries which are concerned with the conversion of raw products into semi-finished products and finished products, and semi-finished products into finished products basically. So first you're getting the raw materials, you are converting it into semi-finished products first, and then into finished products. In some cases, semi-finished products like cement, I will make the cement in manufacturing industry, but the actual cement will be used in construction, right? And the output of primary industry generally becomes the raw materials of manufacturing industry. So the natural resources, basically what they were taking out first in the primary industry, the extraction, was the raw materials for them. Then they took the complete thing out, they reproduced it, multiplied it, and then it became the raw material for the manufacturing industry now. And what do they do with this? They transform it into a new thing basically. In other words, the manufacturing industries create from utility to the products of primary industries. Some common examples are iron ore from mines, steel industries. Basically, again, you can go through it. Take out your highlighter again. Mark secondary industries. Mark the industries concerned with the transformation of materials provided by primary industries. Then mark, there are two types. Mark manufacturing industry. Then with green, mark all the examples and the transformation. Again, it's a go through. Once you go through it, you will remember it. Not a lot to learn. Okay? Perfect. Okay. Moving on to the next one. That is the subtypes of manufacturing industries. So first you have analytical, synthetical, processing, and assembling. So as you can see in the definition, we had extraction, multiplying, growing, processing, and assembling. So processing and assembling, they also come in certain steps. So first what happens is in analytical manufacturing industry, first they get the natural resource, right? Then they say, what can we do of these natural resources? So they take that natural resource and they break it into several materials. Like for example, they get oil, then they remove, so basically if they get oil, they break that down into refinery oil, crude oil, kerosene, petrol, diesel, and all of that. And that is your analytical industry. So after they have basically, broken all of this down, what's next? They go on to synthetical industry. In this type of manufacturing industry, two or more materials are mixed together to form a new product. For example, concrete, gypsum, and coal are mixed together to produce cement. So in analytical, they are breaking down. And in some industries, some subtypes of manufacturing industries, they just get all the products and they don't want to break it down. Instead, they combine it together. So what do? They take everything, they combine it together, and then they produce cement. And then they process this. In the processing industry, a material is processed through various stages to make it a final product. For example, in the cotton textile industry, cotton is passed through the spinning, then weaving, dyeing, bleaching, printing, processed to produce the clothes. So let me basically make this easier. You get a few natural resources. You are 10 people together. Let's say that you are 10 friends together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm just drawing lines. Or okay, I'll draw you guys also. Fine? Be happy. I'm drawing you guys. Almost there. Come on, almost there. I know, I'm so proud of my drawing skills. Okay, so these are your 10 friends. So now, 3 of you say that, hey, these natural resources actually have a lot of potential in them. Let me do one thing. Let me take this 1 and let me make this into 4. Then the other 3 says, hey, no, let's not break it down. Actually, we have a few of them. If I combine them together, I will be able to get a very useful product. So they combine all of them and make one. And now the rest 4 of them say, hey, you guys, you don't need to do all of this. So what they do is, they just take one material of all of that. They go through various stages. Like, for example, they take a natural resource, they take cotton, and then they produce a certain cloth. So they only take one material. So this basic thing, it basically just represents the different stages that come under manufacturing industry. Breaking down, combining, and processing. As in, the material is being processed through various stages. Got it? Then what's the last thing then? Well, in this type of industry, manufacturing components of or parts are combined together mechanically to produce a new product. For example, in synthetical industry, you combine natural resources to form one product like cement. But in assembling, you are using this cement to probably make like a wall. Or let's say in synthetical industry, you are combining like a few wires and you're making like a circuit. Now in assembling industry, you're taking that circuit and making it into a TV. Understood? So that is the difference between all these industry. I hope everything is crystal clear. Take out your yellow pen this time and mark analytical, synthetical, processing, assembling. And under that, mark under analytical, broken into several useful materials. Under synthetical, 2 or more materials are mixed to form new product. Processing, processed through various stages. Assembling, manufacturing components or parts are combined together mechanically or chemically. Okay? Perfect. Now let's move on to construction. So in assembling, we saw that, in assembling basically, various different manufactured components. Mark that thing very properly, manufactured components. The components that have already previously been manufactured through analytical, synthetical, and processing. And now you're using that component to assemble it. So mark this very, very well. So you're making TV and all of that. But what if larger things? What about larger things like roads and bridges? So things like cement and all of that that have previously been made in synthetical industries and analytical industries, the construction industries take such natural resources, they put it together and they combine a whole bridge, wall, a house, a mansion, an AC, all of that. So, construction industries are those industries which are engaged in the construction of buildings, roads, etc. They use the industries of the manufacturing industries and extractive industries. The products of construction industries are movable and they are erected, built, or fabricated at a fixed place. Sorry, not movable, they're immovable. If I have a wall, I cannot move it. It's almost basic physics. You're applying force on the wall, but the wall won't move, so the wall is not doing any work. Right? So that's just basic physics. Again, take out your yellow pen. I just said yellow. I'm so sorry. Take out your yellow pen and mark the construction industry. Okay, perfect. Wait, let me just drink like a sip of water. My throat is so sore right now. Okay, let's move on to territory industry now. Alright, let's move on to territory industry now. Now, I will stop this video just after we finish with territory, and then I will try to cover everything else in the next video. I promise. Hopefully we're able to complete it in the next video. But now I'll just quickly do the territory industry and then I'll stop it right there. Okay. So now under territory industry, all business units which provide commercial services are collectively known as territory industries, or services, sectors, airlines, hotels, public warehouses, banks, advertising agencies, finance companies, etc. They all are examples of territory industries. The importance of territory industries and their contribution to the country's gross domestic product, that's GDP, also known as the economy of the company, has been increasing over the years. So now a lot of you must be confused. Aren't like airlines and all of that firms, industries, companies, all of that? How are the industries basically? So well, airlines are industries. So basically airlines, hotels, public sectors, all of them, they come together to form an industry. They come under territory industries, and alone they are companies. Okay, so all business units which provide commercial services are collectively known as territory industries, and they basically contribute to the country's GDP. That is the economy of the company. So now, on the basis of the nature of the technology used and type of goods produced, industries are divided into two categories: heavy industries, light industries, large-scale industries, and small-scale industries. Heavy industries as in industries which have complex technology, long production of cycles. They're known as heavy industries, basically, which have huge investments and investment in plant machinery and other fixed assets, power generation, shipbuilding, aeronautics, iron and steels. All of them are heavy industries. They need a lot of complex technology. And light industries are those which basically just produce consumer goods, and they employ simple technology and processes of production. They do not require huge investment, like stationery industry, stationery, plastic, etc. They all are light industries, as in we can just go to the shop and buy them. But heavy industries, there's shipbuilding and all of that, and we have to almost, you can say, book a ticket, etc. to actually get a pass and such a thing. Similarly, you have large-scale industries which have an investment more than 1 crore, and small-scale industries would be industries that have investment below 1 crore. And companies, etc., industries, all of them mostly have a huge investment. And that is why we say 1 crore is the baseline. 1 crore, sorry, 1 crore, no. 1 crore is the baseline. And large-scale industries employ large number of workers. They produce goods and services in huge quantities. Cements, petrochemicals, automobile industries are large-scale industries. And stationery, knitwear, then bicycle parts, all of them are small-scale industries. Now in this particular paragraph, what do you need to underline? First thing, territory industry, industries which provide commercial services. Then heavy industry, the examples. Light industry, examples again. Large industries, underline more than 1 crore, and also the examples. And small scale industries, investment of smaller than 1 crore, and also the examples. Alright, so with this we come to an end of the video. If you have any doubts, post it in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to solve them. And until next time, wait for part 2. Bye bye.